Hey everybody, great day to you. It's 12:32 in the east and it's 9:32 in of course the west coast. And what I'm presenting to you is a comparison, and it's also a work of something that needs to be done to change the argument, change the discussion regarding this topic of, according to the title, whether or not the stadium, Las Vegas Stadium, is truly on schedule. So in order to settle this once and for all, I called up this. This is the animation, and I'll answer all of your questions and read all of your comments after this presentation. This is the original Morton McCarthy animation, 4D schedule animation, and it stopped at the 21st of June of this year. As you can see, the entire roof was to have been done, all completely encircled. See that? Completely encircled. That's the tray back there that holds the the natural turf for UNLV. But this was supposed to have been finished. Now, in reality, as you can see, and this is today, this is the 23rd. It's not. It's not at all enclosed. See, it stops here. Approximately 3 days ago, it was here. So they're making progress, but this giant chunk still remains. Let's take another angle. Look at that. Let's go to view 3. Well, let's go to view 2. Let's go to north view. There. Okay, north view. So as you can see in north view, this is still completely open because, as we saw from the other angle, this, not just the roof, but the whole structure is not completely circled around and closed or toward closure, unlike here. This was always the last to be added to, partly because of the steel delivery problem, or for the most part, okay? So the bottom line is, when you look at this, it's quite clear that it's behind schedule when you compare it to this sketch, this. And the question is, how far behind? And the only way to answer that is to actually roll back this to look like that. And that's what this exercise I'm about to embark on will do. So what we're going to do is grab this, and we're going to quite literally move this back. You see how this moves back? Okay, and watch what happens to the roof. Okay, as we go. Okay. See that? That's right about there, so here. Okay. So let's do right here. And then let's keep going back here and stop. Okay. So as you can see, originally the roof was supposed to be installed in a balanced way. In other words, on equal sides. They started on one side, finished it, and didn't do the other. But this is roughly where they are right now, except that all of this is over here. Well, let's just move this forward just a little bit, like so. All right, like there. Okay, that's too far. Let's move it back a little bit. right there. That's a little too far. And that's more like it. Okay, what date is that though? The question is, what date is that? And that comes out to be, they would say to be, let's have it run. Let's allow it to run and see what happens. Right, hold on a second. Let's make this a little bigger. Like so. And then let it run, okay? And eventually this will go away. And it's supposed to drop out of our view. It's not quite doing that. So, because we went beyond our deadline. So let's go back a little bit over here. Go here. And go here, okay? And let's try it again. Just go and let it run. And we'll stop it in the model to approximately where it is in real life. Now it's running, okay? There, see that? This is 2018. That's 2018. We're going into September of 2018. Then we're going into October of 2018. Okay. And you can see the roof forming. And let's stop it right about there. Okay. No, because the roof is still coming in. And right about, he's still coming in. Right about, let's say, yeah, here comes the roof. Here comes the trusses. There go the trusses, right? It's right about there. Stop it. Where does that leave us? That would appear to leave us, if we can get past that, perhaps we can enlarge it. Full screen. There. Okay. That's March 20th, 2019. So we are at now June 23rd, 2019, okay? So March 20th, 2019, June 2019. So what we do now that we know that, hit the escape, it goes back to normal. Open up a new window here. And then we type days between, we're looking for something called days between dates. Days between dates, right? So days between two dates. We want to get the exact number of days. Okay. So our start date was March 19th. It was 3. Okay. And then 19. Right? And then 2000, there, 2019, there, got it, okay? Nope, still not changing. There, 2019, okay? And then our end date, today, 6/23, right? 2019, okay? And calculate the duration. Okay? Calculate that duration. Scroll down. It says 96 days. So what that means is that the stadium is 96 days behind schedule. Okay? 96 days behind schedule. Now, originally, the end date for this was supposed to be, let's just let this run all the way out, okay? And wait, start stops take it to right about, see that red line? And we'll just stop it right there, because it tends to, the reason I stopped it right there is it'll fade to black. See that? Okay. So then let's enlarge that. Okay. Where does that take us? That takes us to 18/20/20. Let it keep running. 3, 4. Okay. See where it cut out on us? That's what we have to watch out. So we have to grab this, move it back, and stop it there. So the original date, that's 5/21/2020. So that is May 21st, 2020. Okay, that was originally when they were supposed to stop. Or actually, it's a little bit. Let's let that run a little bit more. Hold on a second. May, is it supposed to go? Yeah, they had said, yeah, May 21st is when they stopped it, but they let it kept going here. That's May 21st for that part of it. Originally, it's supposed to be May 21st, 2020. Okay, there. So let's add 96 days to that and see what that gets us. That's kind of easy, really. That's May, June, July. So a little bit before July. So there we are. If you compare it to where it is here, where it's supposed to be finished early on, it gives us, yeah, it basically tells us that they're supposed to finish by late July of 2020. If you go by that roof. So late July, late July, let's get the exact date here. Let's escape that. Boom. Calculate duration. That was what, 5? Okay. Let's see here. Looking for add days. Yeah. Okay. All right. We go 5, 21, right? 2019, right? That's where it was, right? Okay. And then we add days. 96. Okay, so we add 96 days. That's what it said. And we calculate the new date. And from Tuesday, there it is. Sunday, August 25th, 2020. My bad. 2020. There it is. Okay. All right. Now we calculate the due date. And there it is. Tuesday, August 25th, 2020. So that's really what we're looking at. We're looking at something that, boom. We're looking at something that peeps into the end of August by this. So the bottom line is, even according to their own, and the whole purpose of this exercise was to see really where the facility is, and even according to their own models, they're roughly 96 days behind schedule. There's a caveat there, because note that I'm going to go back to the stadium model, because note the model cuts out. It still runs, then it cuts out, right? So it never quite tells you. Okay, see where it is at? They still don't. They still have these construction portables here, right? So this isn't, ready for prime time, even at the point where it stops. Okay. So the question is, what if we took this all the way out to the end of May? I mean, where does this go? Okay. Here, okay? So the whole point is, it's supposed to be, now here's something. This is supposed to be, here's a clue for us. Look at this. Here's how the construction of the $1.8 billion 65,000 seat dome Las Vegas Stadium will play out until July 31st, 2020, when completion is expected. Okay, so now we have to take that. Let's take July 31st, 2020. Because really, July 31st, 2020, the model should have ran out here, but this is what they put, right? July 31st, 2020. So therefore, this corresponds to that end date, right? So we go back to our magic time machine. We put July is 7, okay? Then we put 31, right? We have 2020, okay? We add 96 days, calculate the new date, okay? And what does that give us? We calculate the new date. 96 days. There it is. Wednesday, November 4th, 2020. It's official, folks. They're not only behind schedule, they're not going to see a full NFL season. And that's using their own information, okay? See how I did that? And I did it in such a way that you can go back and replicate this yourself. This isn't something where you've talked to a worker and the worker doesn't want to go on camera, or you read this document but you don't know where you got the document from, or all this other jazz. This is not hearsay. This is a test you can run. You see how I roll? See? This is verifiable. You can go back, go to that model, play with the numbers, right? See where, and look at Corey Brown would let you say, how does the 3-month move-in factor into this? Oh, good question. That would take it, if you add the 3-month move-in factor that they said existed, and I'm glad you brought that up. Well, let's just figure it out. That would be, let's just add 3 months, okay? Because we're looking at November 4th, right? So that would be, it's a very good question, Corey. So let's see here. That would be 11/4, right? And so we're adding a 3-month move-in date. 3 times 3 is 9. That's 90 days, okay? 90 days. So calculate new date. This is what we're going to get. Boom, okay? And from Wednesday, November 4th, I press this. Remember, it's November 4th. We're adding 90 days, right? That's what it gets us. Tuesday, February 2nd, 2021, all right? So there's the answer to your question, assuming a 3-month move-in date. Tuesday, February 2nd, 2021. So look, J-Dub says, I had a feeling they were going to be delayed even since the caliche and the water drainage issues. Yeah, they've had a lot of problems with this, okay? You don't have to go off the rails or find anything untoward. I mean, you can just simply look at, purely look at what we've seen, what we're seeing right now. You don't have to find anything new. All you have to do is look at the stadium where it is now, compare it to where McCarthy thought it was going to be. And they put this stadium video model out on Twitter too early on. All you have to do is look at it, as I did. I found it on YouTube, and I will always religiously refer to it. Now, some people say, well, they've changed some things, but it's still a blueprint, because it tells you where you're supposed to be versus where you are. Now, that model assumed, among other things, that the steel is going to be delivered on time, right? In point of fact, we know that it didn't happen. So there's a number of events that occurred to put this thing behind schedule in many different ways. And yet, the Raiders keep saying, oh, this is on schedule. And then when you look at the model, right, look at the construction schedule they put in on the website of Las Vegas Stadium Authority, it has this bar chart that starting last fall, they started to manipulate, so they moved back to mid-September of 2020, which is really closer to what we're looking at, which is October 4th, excuse me, which is really November 4th. of 2020. All right. Let me read all your comments now. Starting it. All right. So I'm gonna start from the top. Welcome to Zenny62, everybody. So Predator Kingdom says the way things are look like the Raiders will play in Oakland the next season too. Yeah. Clinton Cross says, wow. J-Dub writes, to me, either way, we have a house to play in until the stadium issues are fixed and ready for us to move. Exactly. Thank you. Exactly. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Honestly, maybe I'm biased, but the longer in Oakland, the better. Yeah. You know, get a ring in Oakland, get a Vince Lombardi trophy for the Coliseum, and then move on to Vegas, right? J-Dub says, as long as they get it right and it ends up being a safe and an ultimate Raider experience, I'm okay with all the delays. Exactly. This is a billion dollar plus, or he meant $billion+ stadium. They better get it right. I couldn't have said better. Rob Iman says, don't hold your breath. If it's just delayed 3 months, they may schedule the September games on the road. Oh, no, you're absolutely right. The Raiders had that situation with the Oakland A's for many years. The Raiders would play September on the road and then come back in October. But what this information shows is that if you add 96 days to the end date, which is July 31st, 2020, it takes us into November 4th. So, I mean, when it opens, when the whole damn thing opens, okay? November 4th, 2020. So the whole idea, well, they're going to delay all these games is thrown out the window, because you and I both know damn well that by the time you get to November 4th, 2020, you start talking about who's going to the playoffs and who's not. That's how far into the season you are. So, no, not at all. And so, and then, of course, Corey asked the brilliant question, how does the 3-month move-in factor into this? And we looked at that, and that's how we determined that it basically pushes us into 2021. J-Dub says, I had a feeling they were going to be delayed ever since the cliche and the water drainage issues. Joseph Amenderes, how you doing? Joseph says, if the NFL Raiders are telling their players and staff they're moving in 2020, think about the potential problems with player relocation, costs, and school ramifications for families with children. Exactly. They ought to just recalculate, wait until they know everything's going to be ready, and then have them pull that move trigger, you know? J-Dub says, is it me or is it ironic that one of their From the Ground Up episodes is called We Don't Like Surprises? Yeah, and they're getting them, you know? Patrick M. Blackman, how you doing, my man? Patrick writes, peace, everybody. And then he says, the city could be building a stadium all this time while the Vegas stadium is being built. All this time has been wasted away. You mean in terms of Oakland? Yeah, it has been wasted away. But I think, you know, Oakland, I'm starting to think about this from another perspective too. And that perspective was wrong. No, I mean, I was about to think of it in terms of you have to make sure the city workers are being paid properly, the construction workers, which there would be enough money to do. The budget would be sound. So yeah, I think the stadium would have stood a better chance of being built on time and under budget in the Bay Area context. But the ultra high housing costs really do concern me. And however, I think that given the budget that would have been installed for the stadium, we would have been just fine. For one primary reason, the Raiders stadium in Oakland would have been an open air stadium and not a dome stadium, even though I personally favor a dome stadium because it gives you more space use flexibility. It gives you, when you have more space use flexibility, you can have more different kinds of events. More different kinds of events means more money. More money means a more profitable facility there. So that's why I favor that. Besides, I just love dome stadiums. At any rate, J-Dub says, I got J-Dub. Predator Kingdom writes, they better make plans to be in Oakland in 2020 because Vegas ain't ready yet. And yeah, that's right. So I got all your comments till now. And, you know, want to thank everybody for Yeah. Hey, Thomas M. Beltran, how you doing? Patrick says, I like open air, fresh air. And by the way, while we're talking about stadiums, do you realize that the Redskins are also looking for a stadium too? Hey, everybody, J Dub, J Dub, J Dub. The Redskins are looking for a stadium too, and they've been trying. The Redskins have to get a clear situation where they have a government, some government, give them some property tax, right? Some taxes, and that's not looking good. So keep an eye on the Redskins and regarding their future. I don't think they're going to move, but there are fiscal storm clouds around that stadium. Rob Iman says Redskins should build a stadium at RFK Stadium. In fact, let me see where that is, because I remember the last time Redskins. Last time I looked at this, the Redskins had Redskins new stadium. The Redskins had a new model mock-up for their plan for this new Redskins stadium, and this is what was written as far back as February 13th, or I should say as recently as February 13th of 2019. Building a Redskins stadium has never been easy. Now, Dan Snyder, the owner of the Redskins, quest for a new stadium. His lease is up at FedEx Field in 2027, has skidded into fresh uncertainty. All right. And as the DC mayor speaks about the future of RSK Stadium should, and let's see here. That was April 1st. That could be an April Fool's story, so I'm not going to touch it because I write those. Rob Ivan writes, and I think quite properly, that DC will play hardball with Dan Snyder. Yep. And let's listen to this one. Okay, this is June 18th. June 18th. Hold on a second. This is from New York Post, page 6. And you know what? Listen, I want you to listen to this, folks. All right. You know Jerry Jones has a yacht, $250 million, right? You know Arthur Blank has a yacht. Hey, John Collin, how you doing? You know Arthur Blank has a yacht, $250 million, right? Or 200 something million. You know Dan Schneider has a yacht. Dan Snyder has a route. Dan Snyder has a yacht of 180 million. The Emily Smith title. Emily Smith is the author of New York Post, page 6. Redskins owner rolls up in $180 million yacht to find title sponsor for new stadium. Him. That's what it writes. It says that's what it writes. Look at Dan Snyder's yacht. Look at this. Look at this, okay? Check this out. That's Snyder's yacht. Okay? I mean, look at that thing. It looks a lot like Jerry Jones's yacht, doesn't it? It really does. Look at the design. It looks a lot like Jones's yacht. Look at that. And not only that, Atlanta Falcons owner Arthur Blank has a yacht. So all of a sudden, this year, all of these NFL owners are popping up with these huge-ass yachts. You notice that? And that's in cons, okay? Washington Redskins owner Dan Snyder roared up to Cons Lions in his $180 million yacht as ad sources speculated he's in town to find a title sponsor for the team's new stadium. Snyder worked with an estimated $2.2 billion, hopes to build a new facility at the site of RFK Stadium, this team's historic former home. In D.C., he has reportedly been working with congressional Republicans and the Trump administration to include language in a new federal spending bill that will help pave the way for a new stadium. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Because I'm thinking, hey, we could have had that done in Oakland. Just saying. The Redskins lease still could. The Redskins lease, and I'll check on that legislation, by the way. The Redskins lease for the current stadium FedEx, as you know, expires in 2027, blah, blah, blah. And he wants to leave earlier. And so he brings his new yacht called Lady S. It's 1,000-ton feed ship mega yacht. All right? 93 meters, 3,000 tons. It's as long as a football field. Okay? It's huge. Hey, Cowboy Wrestler. It was so big, he couldn't even fit it in the Port du Cans and had to park it alongside the seawall. I mean, this is like, hey, I'm this big. Look at my yacht. The Lady S is the only yacht in the entire world with an IMAX cinema in it. It also boasts a basketball court, a glass bottom pool on the deck, and a helicopter pad. I mean, what is it with all these NFL owners with these yachts, man? Just, okay, stay tuned. You heard it here first. The silver and black. Mark Davis is going to have a yacht. I don't know what he's going to call it. I'll bet he calls it the silver and black. I'm just saying, okay? I'm just saying. And then on Monday night, Snyder hosted a dinner party on board, and his guests were Julie Haddon, the senior vice president of global brand and consumer marketing for the National Football League. I know Julie. And Andy Cerubis, chief commercial officer of Outfront Media. On Cannes Lions, one Cannes Lions source told Page 6, Dan and his team are here to find a title sponsor for the new stadium for the Redskins, and they're taking up meetings with brands and marketers. Look at this yacht. Look at this yacht. Look at this. Look at this yacht. Look at this yacht. Look at that. Look at that yacht. That's wild. Okay, we gotta take a look. I wonder if somebody has tallied up all the NFL owners of yachts, right? It says that NFL franchises are so lucrative. You could sell a portion of it for naming right. A source said that the controversy of the team's name and logo could make the deal more difficult because some brands may shy away, but Snyder has insisted he would never change the team's name in spite of increasing pressure to do so. However, the source added, NFL franchises are so lucrative, they'll surely be able to sign a new title sponsor for the stadium. A second Cannes source insisted that Snyder, who's owned the Redskins for 20 years now, and his team were laid back about the sponsor search, and at Cannes Lions this year mostly to mingle. They're just partying. You know what? That's just Dan. You know what that really is? That's Dan saying, I got a yacht. I wonder where you bought this. I'm gonna type Dan Snyder's new yacht. Yeah. See where he bought this yacht. He bought it $100 million yacht. He just took April 5th. Wait a minute. He bought his yacht about the same time that Jerry Jones bought his yacht. About the same time that Arthur Blank bought his yacht. Are you seeing a pattern here? So basically all Dan Snyder did was he went to Cannes to show off his yacht. That's what he did. He went to Cannes and say, I got this big ass yacht and you don't. Whoo boy. I'm here trying to find title sponsors for my stadium. Bull! This is hilarious. Hold on a second, and I'll get back to your other parts about the stadium and everything else. I'm just typing NFL owners yachts. NFL owners yachts. Yeah. Arthur Blank is the latest NFL owner with a new yacht, but he doesn't have an IMAX. That was as of February 24th, 2019. Okay. So, Showboat Forbes on June 11th said that Atlanta Arthur Blank, take a look, Mr. Home Depot himself, right? Atlanta Falcons owner Arthur Blank joins elite NFL owners club with the launch of 290-foot super yacht. Wow, and he got that. It's funny how that timing works because, unfortunately for Mr. Blank, he got a divorce just a few months before he took delivery of the yacht. It's not supposed to quite work that way, or maybe it is. Maybe there's something I'm not seeing. At any rate, we've got, and that's sad too. I thought they were a magnificent couple. I really did. At any rate, here's his yacht. Here's Mr. Blank's yacht. Boom. See that? Arcat says it's the relocation money from all the franchises moving. Hey, you might be on to something. Look at that. I didn't think they get paid that quickly, but look at that. Okay, that's Mr. Blank's yacht. Looks like a giant. You know what? It looks like a shark, doesn't it? Looks like a Mako shark. So He says, join an exclusive yet growing list of NFL owners that have taken delivery of, and Forbes emphasizes, extremely large yachts this year. This year. So basically, you know, they took, here's another look at Blank's yacht. Look at that, okay? See that? Look at that. See that? So basically, I think you have a point there. There is something that adds up. Relocation, big ass yacht, right? Or maybe I should put it this way: relocation, relocation fee, big ass yacht. Shouldn't this wind up in court? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Okay, just saying. This is the name of his yacht is Bravo Eugenia. That's the name. Jerry. Oh no, excuse me. That's not. No, Arthur Blank's yacht doesn't have that name. Jerry Jones' yacht is longer than Arthur Blank's. This is Jerry Jones' yacht. Okay. This one. That's Jerry Jones' yacht, which looks very much like Dan Snyder's yacht, doesn't it? And it's 357 feet long. It's called the Bravo Eugenia. That looks a lot like the yacht that Dan Snyder bought. Okay, even though it's not, Dan Snyder's isn't as long, right? Wow. Because Snyder's yacht is, what, 280 feet? This is 357 feet long? Jeez Louise. Yeah, so you've got, all right. So here's the list of owners that have, NFL owners that have yachts. Saeed Khan has a 312-foot long one called Kinsmet, all right? And he has a charter guest list that includes Beyonce and Jay-Z. So you have Dan Snyder that has one. And this in Blank, yes, you have Dan Snyder, Arthur Blank, Sheikh Khan, and Jerry Jones. Those are the people that have these huge yachts, brand new. And you know Stan Kroenke's, maybe he's decided he doesn't want a yacht. But look at this thing. This is Dreamboat is a 295-foot entry into the NFL. Who has Dreamboat? Robert Gort is a Dreamboat is what this is a boat called Dreamboat. Okay, and we've got Dreamboat, but I don't know who owns Dreamboat. Dreamboat. Oh, Arthur Blank. Dreamboat AMB. This is Arthur Blank's. It's called Dreamboat. That's what it's called. Okay. Dreamboat AMB are his initials. All right. This is Dan Snyder's Lady S, which looks a lot like, now Dan Snyder's boat looks a lot like Jerry Jones' boat. So that's Dan Snyder's, right? So we go up here, and that's Jerry Jones. See the similarity, right? There's Jones, right? Okay, so we got that, all right? So let's do that again, all right? This is Jerry Jones' yacht. They say that's Jones. That's Jerry Jones' yacht, right? And then they say this is Dan Snyder's, right? Okay, Lady S, okay? And then Arthur Blank has the Dream Boat, or AMB, right? Okay? And that's this behemoth. So basically, look, it's quite clear that there is at least a circumstantial evidentiary connection between the relocation, the payment of the relocation fee, and these dang big boats. Just saying, all right? Now I'll go back to get your comments, and we'll turn back to, that was a nice little sidetrack or sidestep. So we're talking about stadiums. Stadiums. And naming rights, right? Okay, now, we've got, hey, everybody here. I'm getting your comments, starting with, Patrick and Blackman says he likes open air. J-Dub says, as owner. Patrick and Blackman then says, back at Washington, D.C. Bob Iman says Redskins should build a stadium on the RFK site. I think it's a good idea. Cowboy Wrestler adds Redskins will never move, period. NFL wants to be in the DC Metro. Yeah, I can't see them moving at all either. I can't. They're already out in they're outside of Washington as it is already. I thought the plan was to bring them closer more into DC. Um, Daniel Gutierrez says, "Hey, second time talking to you. Great show. What is the future of the city of Oakland versus the A's and the Raiders?" Oh, I thought, well, the A's are building a new stadium at Howard Terminal. They're really progressing along quite swimmingly. They're getting the legislative approvals they've sought at the state level in the state of California, and that includes a tax increment financing zone in the Jack London Square area that, when it's implemented by the Oakland City Council, which will be some years from now, it will allow the A's to raise up to, by my estimation, about $400 million for the property, okay, for use primarily for the construction of affordable housing, and also just basically to, as a subsidy, and that's what it is, a subsidy to help ease the financial heft on the athletics building a stadium. So it's not, no, it's not truly privately financed anymore. They kept growing. It's 100% privately financed. No, it's not. And to me, it couldn't have paid for itself without that. And I did the calculation for Dave Cavall that spearheaded him getting the kind of legislation that he landed this year. Dave Cavall is the president of the Oakland Athletics, okay? So at any rate, there's the answer to your question. As far as the Raiders and the use of that stadium, I think it should be renovated, but whatever renovation has to be done, it has to be lifted in the air by a good, I would say, 40 feet, okay? And the reason is it's below sea level there. And so you have to build a platform and then raise the platform about 40 feet, so that, like, if you want an example of what I'm talking about, and that's the minimum, look at the mound at Oracle Arena. That mound is there for the same reasons. So you have to take that mound structure and replicate it. I always favored this, and I thought, and this really found its way into my original plan that Mark Davis asked me to come up with for the Raiders, a whole multi-story shopping complex, if you will, of that mound. So that riser area, that mound area, really becomes a building, okay? And that building blends into the stadium across the way from it, but higher. So you have this whole platform. But at any rate, Dave Cavall estimated it was going to cost them $400 million to build the platform alone before they could do anything else at the Coliseum. So they're not going to have to do that at Howard Terminal. All right. Hey, John Akala, Rob Iman says DC may want the Redskin name. Cowboy Wrestler says, well, quite frankly, what the Redskins need to do is build at the current FedEx Field site and play at College Park until the new stadium is built. That's a good idea. That's a very good idea. J-Dub says they showed him standing on the back of it looking like he was bored. He might have been. You never know. Joseph Amandura says, where is Mark Yacht, or does he have a canoe? Oh, I was waiting for that one. You know that Mark Davis is building a 14-room house in Vegas, right? Joseph Amandura says that. Cowboy Wrestler says, message retracted. Corey Brown writes, we got 2 Oakland teams, originally from Philly. Why not a third? Are the Eagles next to land here? Just kidding. No, the Eagles are not leaving Philadelphia. Daniel Gutierrez says, second time responding to you. Great program. What is the future of the Oakland Raiders and the Oakland A's for the city of Oakland? I answered. Cowboy Wrestler says Washington Reds. I like that. Reds. The Reds. Instead of the Redskins. I like that. Miguel Nunquist. That's more of a ship than a yacht to me. Yeah, it's a ship. You're right. That thing is huge. It is a ship, man. I said ship. S-H-I-P. P. Ship. Okay? Ship. Rob Iman says they can renovate FedEx Field if RFK doesn't happen. J-Dub says that's just one toy too many for Snyder, I'm sure. Cowboy Wrestler says Mr. Home Depot himself talking about Arthur Blank. Rockhead says it's the relocation money from all the franchises moving. That's where I started chiming in about that. And so John Collins says, you think the National Football League Players Association will agree to an 18-game regular season and a reduced preseason schedule next CBA? No. Well, let me think about that. This 18-game thing has been around for some time. It has been around in conversation for a good 25 years. 25 years, okay? Now, the argument for an 18-game season is that you figure, hey, look, players get injured. They get injured in preseason. There's too many preseason games, so they get injured. Why don't you just make that a regular season game so that those games count? That's the idea, if they're going to be playing them anyway. My thought is if you make it an 18-game regular season, then at least be allowed to go from a 53-man roster to a full 60-man roster, okay? So you have more players to, play, okay? And do that. And what do you think about that? J-Dub says, I hear you on the Cowboy Wrestler. Patrick M. Blackman says, Washington plays at Landover, Maryland. What? 32 Assassin! 32 Assassin. For those of you wondering, 32 Assassin is in reference to the great Jack Tatum. Just want to let you know that. Now, what's named the other... Now, when Jack Tatum played the Pittsburgh Steelers... Yeah, I'm aware of that sound, by the way. When Jack Tatum played the Pittsburgh Steelers, what was the name of the other famous 32 that he hit in the Immaculate Reception? And not only that, when he did that, he wasn't 32, he was 31. Remember that? He wasn't 32, he was 31. But what was the famous 32 that he hit? Just a trivia question to throw out there. I'm still going to do these as contests one day. I'm going to shock everybody. I wasn't ready for that. Okay. Cowboy Wrestler says Lynn Stallworth. Ha ha! Funny. All right. 32 Assassin asked this. How is it the ultimate Raider experience in Las Vegas if there is no black hole, appropriately clad denizens, or on-site tailgates? You know what? I got the answer for you. You ready? You ready? It's not. It's not. Fuqua? No. Come on, dudes. 32. Franco Harris. What's wrong with you all? Franco Harris. Well, actually, he didn't really hit. You're right, because Fuqua is the guy he hit, and Fuqua wasn't at 32, but Franco Harris is the guy that caught it. So I should revise my question. Bully does bad on me. Franco Harris was number 32. All right. So, right, exactly, Cowboy Rush. That's why I was wrong. Because I screwed up the question, okay? I screwed up the question. That's what I get. All right. Renabilius for his, bruh, you got to get that smoke detector in your house that's bleeping fixed. I know. Joseph, I keep remembering to do it. It's a lot of other things I got to do around here. And so, Joseph says, it's a Raider home game. Will you have the focus? Yeah, I know. Raider Franco Harris Cowboy Rush says Lynn Starworth. No, Lynn Starworth. Double D says, even though Las Vegas is 90 days behind schedule, do you think it'd be made up with extra labor hours? The question is, well, the answer is yes, but the question is, can they afford it? Because it's one thing to say yes, but it's another thing to calculate how many person hours that is, okay? Notice I said person hours, not man hours. I wish more people would do that. Say person hours. At any rate, and look, do you realize today there was no construction going on? All right, so riddle me this. If there's such a rush to finish this thing, how come no one worked on Sunday? And, all right, how come no one worked on Sunday? That pretty much means there wasn't a rush to do anything. Or is it that they ran out of money? Or, why? Or maybe it was weather, or maybe it was working, whatever it was, they didn't work on Sunday. Okay. So apparently, either they don't have the money they thought to pay, something's going wrong. Let's just say that. Something's going wrong. You can see it, I can see it, and whatever the something is, or some things are, they are causing these enormous delays. And I think there's more, a plural, a bunch of somethings rather than a one thing. And so Daniel Gutierrez writes, it's a shame the Raiders are not staying in Oakland. Really, was the city's fault they're moving, or is it the Raiders' fault, or is it both? Well, it's both. It's the Raiders for lying to the city of Oakland regarding their intentions and not saying, hey, look, we want to move and here's what's going on, as opposed to, well, we want you to give us a plan and we'll give you, as if to say, Oakland, hey, look, if you give us a plan, we'll stay. The reality is they had no intention of doing that, did the Raiders. They simply wanted the city, they goaded the city into coming up with a plan so that they can then reject the plan for whatever reason they came up with. And that's really what they did, and move. It was disingenuous. It was lack of good faith. And it did violate the relocation policy, which is a form of contract. The St. Louis courts have said it. I can't imagine San Francisco court going against that. So there you go. All right. Now, Calvaressa writes, Double D, not more than likely the Raiders will be playing in Oakland 2020 and eventually Vegas in 2021. Arcad writes, Fuqua had shoes with goldfish in them. Daniel Gutierrez writes, if they don't get to stadium done on time, do you think there's a chance that somebody else will end up moving in there instead of Raiders just a curiosity? No, because the Raiders have already signed their lease. Okay, that was done last year in April. You sign a lease, you're expected, hey Barry Lee, how you doing? You're expected to occupy. So that's not happening. Okay, and please don't run around saying, oh, Zinni said, it's going to be somebody else. I didn't. I never said that. And there are people like some guy wrote me last night, said, well, let me read to you what he wrote. Let me read to you the email that I got from this guy, okay? Because I thought it was unfortunate, okay? One moment, please. And, I'm going to occasionally read emails that I get from here on out. But this one, I was a bit taken aback by its tone, all right? Hey, Barry Lee, hold on a second. You missed my talking about how we got to a point where the stadium is behind schedule. Okay, that's what I was showing. All right. All right. So where was this here? Well, yeah, sent mail. Because I have to find where I responded to get his. Let's see here. This is what he wrote. His name is Robert Alvarez. Your recent article on the naming rights dollars for Las Vegas Stadium seemed biased. He didn't give me a link to which one I was talking about because I talked about it a lot. If a random person read your article, they would assume you're a fair-minded player. Thanks. The fact is your article paints a picture of anti-Vegas, and they should have stayed in Oakland Field to it. Now, okay, hold on a second, folks. Work with me here. Listen to this. I'm gonna read this to you again, all right? This is what it reads. You ready? Okay. Your recent article on the naming rights dollars for Las Vegas Stadium seemed biased. If a random person reads your article, they would assume you are a fair-minded player. That's what he writes, okay? They would, if a random person reads your article, they would assume you're a fair-minded player. Thank you. But then in the next sentence, he writes this. The fact is that your article paints a picture of anti-Vegas, and they should have stayed in Oakland Field to it. So wait, which is it? Which is it? This is crazy making, all right? Which is it? Is it a random person sees my article and they would think I'm fair-minded? Or is it that my article paints a picture of anti-Vegas and they should have stayed in Oakland, which isn't fair, right? I mean, which is it? Or is he trying to say that I'm doing both? I'm fair-minded. He's not saying that. This is crazy. This is the kind of thing I get from time to time, all right? And then he goes on. I've been a Raider fan since 1984. I've been a part of good times and bad times, but I've been a part of this alone. I would never, ever take my wife or kids to Oakland for an Oakland Raiders game. However, the Raiders in Vegas is a game changer. This guy's not from Oakland. I can't wait to be in those stands with my 9-year-old. I'm willing to pay just about anything for secondary ticket or market ticket price. $300 a ticket, $500 a ticket, I'm paying it. Would never do that in Oakland. There's no new stadium in Oakland. Of course you'd do it for a new stadium in Oakland. Come on. I'm also willing to pay $300 a right night for a hotel. I and thousands of Raider fans will. We just wouldn't do that in Oakland. People like me are the reason the Raiders are leaving Oakland. Sorry if I ran here. I just wanted my 2 cents. So this is what I wrote back to Robert. I wrote, hello, and thanks for reaching out. I have repeatedly said the stadium is a good idea for the Oakland Raiders. However, the truth about how this came to pass is the problem. The Raiders did not explain in truth what they wanted. A number of Oakland elected officials have said they lied. That's why the issue is in court. Just because the Raiders need a stadium doesn't allow them or anyone to not handle the stadium issue the right way. Even NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell said to me, the Raiders deserve blame for why they don't have a stadium. I have a relationship that goes with the Raiders back to 1976. But someone has to tell the correct story. That's something you and others should want to hear. My 2 cents is this. Discover the truth. Don't fear to learn it. Thanks for writing, and God bless you, Zenny. Boom. There you go. All right. So, I mean, it's like, oh, man. All right. Did I answer your question, Barry Lee? Oh, Barry Lee, thanks. Thank you, Barry. Donis is talking about the sea of hands. Yeah. Barry Lee says, you're not anti-Vegas. No, I'm not. Heck, I've covered CES for 10 years. Eric Richards says, if you haven't heard of these people before last communication with Jedi's, it could be them having several troll accounts to leave themselves positive reviews on their own stuff. It wouldn't surprise me, Eric Richards, but, look, if that's how if that floats their boat, that's the case, I can care less. I can care less. Cabrera says, wow. Riley says, now that was a class act response. Thank you. Kevin KD, how you doing? Kevin says, if the NFL didn't want Oakland, Then why not just sell this team to Sheldon? You ask a very bright question, my friend. I'm going to answer that in a question section. Kevin Katie says, man, what a mess. All right, this is why. Jerry Jones is part of a group of owners that favor gambling. He's personally told me at the 2016 October Fall NFL Owners Meeting that he said that Sheldon Adelson and his team would make excellent owners. That's what he told me. Okay. So, and I always felt that Jerry Jones was sort of going to bat for Sheldon Adelson or the Adelson for reasons that don't quite meet the eye. But because they've been friends, he stayed at the Venetian, had a lot of fun at the Venetian, that sort of thing. So you get the idea. So I think Jerry Jones feels like he needed to do Sheldon Adelson a solid. I understand Adelson's in the hospital. Let me check on his condition. So I was talking with somebody else about that. I think it was actually the Jedi folk. I mean, we were, getting along amicably. But let's see here. Let's see here. Trump has a 250. Oh. Ooh. Listen to this. Transfer of Las Vegas Sands shares lifts Sheldon Adelson's wife. This is by casino.org, okay? Hold on a second. Casino.org reports that Las Vegas Sands founder and CEO Sheldon Adelson last year transferred millions of shares of the casino operator's stock to his wife, Dr. Miriam Adelson, making her Israel's wealthiest person. A new addition to the list of Israel's mega-rich, Miriam Adelson, 73, has an estimated worth of $22 billion, according to Haaretz. That's the Israeli newspaper. By the way, Zenny62.com, the other blog, my aggregator, dutifully feeds hazardous content, at any rate, so I'll let you know that, by my engineering. At 22 billion, she is far ahead of the Roman Abramovich, the person in the second spot. Abramovich, a Russian oligarch who owns the English Premier League's Chelsea Football Club, is worth an estimated 13 billion, according to Haaretz. He became an Israeli citizen in 2018. To put Adelson's fortune into context, she is worth more than Israel's 5th, 6th, and 7th wealthiest people combined. Health concerns. Sheldon Adelson, who also serves as chairman of Las Vegas Sands LBS, has an estimated net worth of $35.7 billion, placing him number 24 on the Forbes list and making him the world's richest gaming executive. Adelson, 85, has been battling non-Hodgkin lymphoma, a blood cancer that erodes the body's lymphatic system. Oh my gosh. 10 years ago, he was diagnosed with peripheral neuropathy, a condition that weakens the hands and feet and causes limited mobility. Earlier this year, Las Vegas Sands confirmed Adelson's health issues, and those concerns could be the impetus behind the massive transfer of stock to his wife, Miriam. As of February 25th, he owns 396.71 million shares of LBS there. And it talks more about Miriam Anderson. Now, let me type something that mates his name to the Raiders to see if there was anything recent, right? So I'm typing that, and I'm pushing the button, bam, and I'm waiting, and then voila. The number one, the number two, and the number, look, you type Adelson Raiders, and who you get? You get me. 1, 2, and 3. You get me, okay? So, you know what that means? I got to do some homework. I I got to keep my leadership up, right? I expected to find somebody else. What does that tell you? It tells you that they're all asleep at the wheel. At least I'm trying, right? Then there's the Review Journal talking about the NV Energy and Results World announcement. And then we get back into Mark Davis trying to pull the same trick or something. And then we go back to 2017, how the Raiders and Adelson had a falling out in Davis. This is by the Chronicle. And I don't normally read the Chronicle's account, but I didn't even know I didn't even see their account. I only know mine. This is by Mateer and Ross. Okay. And I know the answer to that question because the Review Journal had the best one. But he said that the version we hear from Steve Sisolak, chairman of the Clark County Commission in Nevada, he's now governor, of course. He said Adelson told him Monday that the two sides could not work out a revenue stream from concessions and other sources to repay the $650 million that billionaire Adelson was putting into the stadium deal. There was that doesn't make any sense to me. Does that make any sense to you? Because I'm going to sit down. I'm just thinking in terms of, well, you know why? Actually, it does make sense because revenue from concessions and other sources, luxury boxes, sure. But anyway, it says there was widespread speculation that in exchange for his money, Adelson wanted at least a piece of the team, something Davis might not have parted with willingly. Sisolak, however, said he had never heard any such talk from Adelson. He was very disappointed, very unhappy, but that never came up. Adelson was both the financial and political muscle behind a political... and so, yeah. So anyway, that's what's going on there, all right? So that was a short one. That's a waste of time. I thought maybe I would have gotten some new information, but I didn't get any new information. In fact, I'm very happy that I'm at the top 3 spots. I'm going to have to do a retrospective just to put myself as number 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4 instead of, right now what I've got here is, this. So I've got 1, 2, 3, right? And then that, okay? I got to add something to make myself 4. Clean out the riffraff. You know what I mean? Yeah. So anyway, there's nothing else new. Nothing new. There's nothing about it. Nothing about Sheldon Adelson and the Raiders. Okay. Nothing about. Let's see, Adelson. Let's just type Las Vegas, right? Not Las Vegas Sands, but just Las Vegas, right? And then click news. And nope. Still the same stuff we found about his wife getting more rich. Yeah, I said that one. Okay. Nevada is getting more Democratic, and casino money is following suit. Because it used to be Republican. Okay. The tide is shifting. When money shifts like that to Democrats, we have a better chance of winning the White House. Keep that in mind. Okay, I'll get your comments. We've got, let's see here. Barry Lee says, as for Sheldon, what would be a sure bet? I'm having a hard time reading this, Barry Lee. Forgive me. Let me just read this with me, okay? All right, read this. Because as for Sheldon, what would be a sure bet would be to get the NFL to either give him another team or an expansion team and pin it in Oakland. Now that would show the NFL responsible gambling. And then Cowboy Wrestler says, Z, I wasn't aware of this before, but Las Vegas has a huge Mormon population. Very interesting, giving Vegas reputation. Yeah, I didn't know that. That's news to me. I had zero idea. That is quite informative. Is it kind of like, wow, I didn't know that. I had no clue of that. But anyway, okay, it's 1:42. Does anybody have any parting shots they want to offer? as I close out and ease on out and down the road, that sort of thing. To come back tomorrow. Any questions you have? Any questions you have right now that are burning? You want to get off your chest. By the way, just how have I been? Fine. I went to Pinewood Studios, Atlanta, Fayetteville, Georgia's Studio Cafe restaurant last night for dinner. Excellent buffet. So Fayetteville's a way out, though. I mean, unless you've got business at Pinewood, it's not really worth the trip. Because if you come down here thinking you're a spot stars, it's kind of hard to do that, because not only because a lot of the people, they go into Atlanta, so you're better off staying in a hotel in downtown Atlanta and catching a glimpse of a movie star, because the studios around here are all over the place. We are 50 miles out. We are in the hard to reach, hard to find boonies. Maps do not do justice to where we are. It's almost like being on Skull Island or something. Seriously. So at any rate, you have to know your way around here. It took me I would say it took me a full 3 hours. 3 hours. Did I say that? It took me a full 3 years. 3 years, 4 years to get my bearings around here. 5 years. Yeah. To where I felt like I had 5 years where I felt like I had a bead on where I was. I mean, I always knew where north south was, right? But in terms of freeways and where they took me and that sort of thing, it takes a while. And if you're not careful, you can get lost like that. It's really easy, and it's dark. So anyway, so I've been good. Cowboy says, "How's life in the old Georgia?" It's good. And Joseph M. says, "No Adelson, he's a Trump supporter." Cowboy says, "Are you south of Atlanta Metro?" We are not south of Atlanta Metro. No, we're way out, like southeast, I guess. John Akala says, "Would a 17-game regular season work, or does it have to be an even number?" That's a good question, John. I think it's always been even. For example, we had 14 games, right? 7 home, 7 away. Then we went from 14 to 16 games. And then we've always talked 18 games, but it's always been even. And the reason is very simple. You want to have an even number of home games versus away games, right? You want to have, okay, so you say, okay, you want to have, so let's say if it's 15, right? Where do you mark the half stadium? Okay? Right? Where do you mark the half stadium? Because 15 is what, 7.5 twice, right? So how do you do a half a stadium? All right? You can't. So it either has to be 14 games or 16 games. You see what I'm getting at? That's why they do it that way. Rob Iman says, feels like living on the outskirts of Fresno. Something like that. Cowboy Rush says, "I'm really 5 miles from Dallas. Which direction?" I lived in Arlington. Cowboy Rush says, "Rob Iman, life in the Central Valley." Life in the Central Valley. Oh, by the way, let's see what we're talking about. The good old stadium situation in Las Vegas. Let's see what we're looking at. Excuse me, with respect to Nevada Independent. Let's see here, because right now there are only basically 2 primary players blogging about the Las Vegas Stadium: me and the Review Journal. That's it. Let's see here. Session brings in maintenance, assists like Promise Tracker. Advocacy groups seek to make gun violence a priority. Washoe superintendent accused of leaking confidential information. Board sets meeting to discuss her employment. Indie DC download. Let's see here. UNLV report forecasts continued economic growth this year and in 2020, which, you know what that means. That spells re-election for Trump if all goes according to Hoyle. Burning Man looks like it's in trouble. I did say that. Senator Scott Hammond on bringing in a minority and sending public funds to non-schools. Okay, I got nothing here about the Raiders. Nothing. Nothing here about the Raiders. Nothing. Let's see here. Las Vegas Stadium. Okay, Las Vegas Stadium, top stories. Let's see here. You know, V has top stories list. I'm going to have to bump them out of the way. And Las Vegas, Oakland Raiders, Las Vegas Stadium truss problem creates stupid ... That's me. And let's see here. Local source. Oakland Raiders, Las Vegas Stadium truss, Jedi Rich, Jedi Joy, confusing signals, whatever. Okay, that's there. Still on the front page for that, but obviously, you know, I'm about to add to that. Raiders, Las Vegas Stadium youth trust problem causes new delay. It's interesting. The reason why my stuff goes down is because it's always the matter of intensity of the search, right? Who clicks on it? That's what that's all about. Oakland Raiders, Las Vegas Stadium down red trolled. All my stuff is going down, which means the whole trust issue is going away. All right. I said trust issue, not trust issue. Trust issue. All right. Let me get back to your comments here. Cabaret wrestler Rob Iman, Sanger, Texas. Let's see here. Oh, Sanger. Rob Iman has a family in the middle of Sanger, Texas. All right. Barry Lee says, have a good night. It was a long day at work. Hey, good night, Barry. Thanks for stopping by. Hey, Barry, you said you bought all 3 of my T-shirts? That's cool. I'm gonna add a coffee cup. Sean Watson, how you doing? Sean says, do you think the Raiders will lose their fan base when they move? Yes, I do. Because the Raiders will get a fan base equivalent to what the Warriors have for the playoffs and the finals. People just sort of wearing the colors who are not really bleeding the brand, okay? That's what they'll get. And so they're not going to get, and you know, remember Don Webb said that the Raiders didn't want the same kind of fan. Did you forget that? He said that September 21st, 2017, that they fully expected a different type of fan. They wanted a different type of fan, basically, because they wanted an environment that they said was kid-friendly. Implication, the current environment at the Coliseum isn't kid-friendly. Wow. Hey, good evening to you. But that's what he said. It's in black and white. You can search it for yourself. His last name is W-E-B-B, Don Webb. And Cowboy Wrestler says, Z, speaking of Arlington, Texas, there's a new ballpark for the Texas Rangers being built across from AT&T Stadium. You talk about a city that's booming right now. I got to check that out. Cowboy Wrestler says, not the Southern California fan base. No. And Watson, again, he says that. Sean Watson said that's sad. Cowboy Wrestler says, but they will lose the Oakland fans. Yeah. Rise Above says, good evening. Yeah, because, look, they'll lose the Oakland fans for a special reason. Oakland fans, given the degree to which they're faced, and Bay Area fans, paying high housing costs, are not going to cough up more money to see the Raiders just like that in another city, a distance away. Okay? That's not happening. Some people will do it, but for the most part, I can't see that. They need the money. Disposable income has been choked off. Okay? So right now, the Raiders have, if these season ticket purchases are, real and not Memorex, they've got a fan base that consists of casino employees, a lot of them, who snapped up tickets, who are most likely to resell those tickets on the secondary market rather than go to the game as a Raider fan. They'll go because it'll be the thing to do for a while until they stop going. It's not going to be the same. Okay? Barry Lee says, I got 2 t-shirts, one Oakland News Now, another Zinni 62. Thank you, Barry. Joseph Armendariz says, I was wondering if you were planning to come down to see the Raiders in Carson and they play another home game. I haven't made any plans like that. My mom is my first priority, and that's the way it is. So I'm here. My next scheduled place to go is San Diego for Comic-Con, and I still have to nail down a hotel. I'm already credentialed as press for the 10th year in a row. Zinni 62 Media's credential for the 10th year in a row as press at San Diego Comic-Con. Woo! Gotta find a hotel. Other than that, no, I'm, sending Rin back to Oakland, keeping that place. I've got clients and work back there that I bring here. Family first, that's right. Although this is this girl I really, really like, so we'll see what happens. But at any rate, but yeah, mom first. Mom first. Always. So what I have is, other than Comic-Con, that's it. And that's until the fall and the league's fall meeting, which ostensibly will be in Miami, because the Super Bowl it'll either be in Miami or no, it'll be New York. Probably the Conrad. I think it's the Conrad's turn this time. Yeah, I think it's the Conrad in New York. I think it's the Conrad's turn this time. We'll see how that goes. So, yeah. So, at any rate, that's what's happening. All right, it is almost 2 o'clock. See everybody. I'll see you guys. It's been 38 watching. I could have, now 40. Hey, we're back to the old thing. It's like everybody comes on as I'm thinking of going off. It's like, Good night. I'll see everybody. See you tomorrow. I'll be back. I'll be back. And not from outer space, folks. I'll be back. All right. I'll see you guys. Okay. Good night, everybody. I'm like, good night. It's a good night. And congratulations to Tyler Perry on his reception of the Icon Award at BET Awards 2019.